we talked on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So 3 days ago, it's Thursday.
Uh-huh.
So we had a consult on Monday. A real quick, I'm just going to briefly go through your history. Your great grandma was dumped by her husband because she wasn't thin enough, right?
My grandma, yeah.
Well, your grandma. Okay, so your grandma. So your grandma had all sorts of body image issues because she believed, right? Her husband said, "I'm leaving you because you're overweight."
Well, and he told their kids that, and so they believed it.
Yeah, and so your mom essentially grew up thinking, "I cannot be fat," and she worked for Weight Watchers, right, for a long time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Battling weight because, it's really battling divorce, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so how old are you now?
32.
So you're 32 years old and you've been dieting since
14?
most of your life, half of your life at least, right?
Yeah.
But even up to 14, you probably thought, oh, I want to make sure I don't get fat. I probably need to lose some weight, but you really didn't. You went to Weight Watchers with your mother.
Yeah, from what I remember, and maybe she remembers it differently, I felt like I sort of had to. So I felt some shame about that back then.
You had to go with her?
That's how it felt, yeah.
Oh, I see. Because it's kind of like religion. Like you have to be her religion.
Yeah, and I think like all good intentions on her side.
Of course. There's no judgment here because we both understand if that's what she believes is what keeps you in a marriage, it's what makes you attractive to men, right? That's your safety and security in society. She's first certainly going to try to help you accomplish that, right? And ultimately what you're taught is your worth is only your body. You are as good as your body is attractive to men.
Yeah.
Right? You're as safe as someone wanting to have sex with your body, right? We talked about that.
Yeah.
And then you've attracted men who are the same way, right? You had a boyfriend who told you that you weren't thin enough for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just seem ridiculous? Because you really don't.
Yeah.
And you believed it?
At the time, I was like, oh, I need to be better. But now I'm like, what? Hindsight's 2020.
Of course. So we spoke, when we talked, you can forgive all that. It can make sense for why you've had so much pressure to be thin and why it's passed down through the last couple of generations. But ultimately, has it really brought you any joy? Has being thin or thinner or losing weight ever really made you feel good about yourself?
No.
Just makes you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah. Or it was like an illusion,
Of course it's an illusion, right? You see that now. You see that after the fact.
Yeah.
So at this point...
Or like if I was thin, I would allow myself to then live my life, so that made me happy, but it wasn't anything to do with my weight.
Yeah. No, it had to do with a temporary moment of freedom. But even then, it's not really free because you have to keep your body the way that is to maintain that freedom. And so you end up spending most of your freedom defending your weight loss with obsessive exercise, obsessive dieting, obsessing over what's in your food. Oh my God, I just have to maintain this because this is who I am. So you identify yourself by the image of the body, whether you have the ideal or everything else that is not the ideal, right? And even then, when you did reach some goal or you looked in the mirror and said, wow, did you ever really feel that it was good enough?
No.
No, because there's always thinner. Yeah. There's always a better body. And until then, your life you cannot be free until you get that body. And even then, that body has to be focused on. It has to be fixated on. It has to be, Yeah, it has to be validated as well. Doesn't everybody notice that I now have this body that should be giving to humanity? I mean, look at me. Isn't that my gift to you? Is my looks? My health, isn't my health permeating to everybody around me so that they can feel the happiness that health brings?
Yeah.
It's just awful because what spirit, what soul, right? And this is what we left off with is, what if you're not the body? What if the body is just the earth? It's a form of being here. And the content of your soul is the real truth. That's the truth. That the outside of this is just some facade. And even pretending that you are better with the body, does that make the soul better?
No.
Nothing really changes, right?
Yeah. I'm the same regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me how how that consultation has influenced the way you feel about yourself right now.
I feel like I'm, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, kind of like embracing and accepting, and then kind of like, oh no, I don't know if I can let this go.
Because I need to be this body. This is all I have.
Yeah. Like, am I okay with this? Like, it has anything to do with quality of life or whatever, So, but I think it's been good. I've just been reflecting a lot the past couple days, and actually I had a date on Wednesday. I don't know when I had a date this week after we talked, and the guy we met, and he like looked me up and down a few times, which I thought was rude. And then we were having good conversation, like, oh, tell me about like your worst date story. And the story he told me was about getting set up on a blind date with someone who was, in all effect, ugly. And I'm like, okay.
See you later.
I don't want to date. Yeah. But I was kind of like, oh, thank God I didn't meet him super skinny, where I would have waited to lose weight to date. Because
totally.
then he might have put on a show.
You would have had no idea that this guy was a douchebag.
Right.
No. And even then, it's like this person, if that's what he's seeing, he doesn't really know himself either.
Yeah, I said,
right.
Did she have a personality?
Did you say that?
Yeah, because I was kind of offended by that statement. Like, what does that matter? Like, I guess a level of attraction is important, but really small in comparison to everything else that's important.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, right, that girl who has an incredible power, who has a soul, who has a heart, is being categorized as worthless.
Yeah, right.
Right? Someone like him would not date someone with a real physical problem. Oh, she's got a wheelchair. Not worth my time.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, she's
so
got...
I do feel like...
Right, so if something happens to whoever he decides to be with, he will feel like he's a martyr to it.
Yeah.
Right? So can you see where there's drama built into that perception around body image and body worth? Just built in drama, which is part of the lesson of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's part of learning the downside of affiliating with the body that you're in. It's like, if you can't accept this body, what makes you think you're going to accept something that happens to it? Right? If what you have right now is like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. What can you handle if this can't handle?
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to think about that for a second. If your soul cannot accept this body, you might want to stay inside and never leave.
Yeah.
Can it handle... What can it handle? If it can't handle this, if this is torture, this is so bad, I'm 20 pounds overweight, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
How are you going to respond to labor and delivery? How are you going to respond if you actually get some random virus that affects you physically? How are you going to feel when reality hits? You're going to wonder why the hell you wasted so much of your emotions and your self-worth and your perfect body, how much you've wasted thinking it sucked. Right?
Yeah. I already feel like that.
Yeah. You have a
Like,
perfect, luxurious body and you're meant to say, I don't think I can handle this. It's just, I just don't know. It's so awful.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you lose your legs to some car accident or you get a spinal injury that leaves you in pain?
Yeah.
I know, right? To get some surgery where you can't do anything for months. This perception is going to make you go crazy because you're left to feel like your life is so bad because it's defined by the body and what happens to it, right? On the other side of this, on the flip side of body image is soul image, right? Soul image. So as a soul image, it doesn't matter what type of body I'm in. I don't care if I'm in a black body, if I'm in a American Indian body. I don't care if I'm in a Hispanic body, a Canadian body, a short body, a tall body, a white body, a tan body, blonde. Doesn't really matter what body I'm in. I can have no fingers, no hands. I can lose my legs. I can get burns. I can get a disease. Does it really affect the soul that I have? If I have a soul identity.
Not at all.
Nothing changes. It can't affect my soul. Even a body that's been raped. This body has been raped.
Yeah.
The soul hasn't been touched. Right? And even then, the fact that the soul is not touchable, right? It cannot be influenced unless I sign the contract that says it can based on the body, right? Meaning, my body's been raped, therefore my soul has been raped. Because what happens to the body defines me. That's a body image. That's actually a form of body image called sexual imagery, right? That someone took the sex of my body, therefore my soul has been taken. That's identifying by the body, right?
Yeah.
So it has taken a deep, deep suffering for my soul to say, oh my God, whatever happens to this body, whether I get hit by a car, someone rapes me, if it happens again, they cannot touch the soul because that's that's how I'm identifying myself. I'm not going to identify myself with the damage that I caused to my body from the excessive exercise. The damage that was caused from the excessive exercise is no longer how I'm not going to feel bad. What's been done has been done, and the lesson learned was a perfect exchange for that pain, right? I am not defined by this body. So when I am done with this body and my soul parts from this body, does it really matter when I get a new one? If I get a new body, if I've learned to detach from this one, will I have to do that again with the next one?
No.
Because I've learned to do it prior to death. So essentially, it's like reincarnation. I have, in essence, reincarnated with the same body. So none of those things have affected me. None of those judgments still live because I am now a soul. I have a soul identity. I don't have a body identity. What that allows me to do is to have fun with the body I have and appreciate it. Oh my God, should I complain every month when my boobs hurt right for my period? No. Are you kidding me? That's part of this body. Right?
Yeah. I feel like also if you really have that soul identity, then you can really focus on how you feel, because I think a lot of times being so focused on my body, it's detached me from my feelings, and then I don't know what I want or need, and I can't get there.
Yeah, you emotionally are stunted. That's what that is. You're not progressing emotionally, and you tend to blame your body for all those problems anyways.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like your body is your punching bag, because ultimately you think that it's the body's fault that you're not dealing properly, and you'll justify and rationalize abusing it. It becomes your punching bag and your limitation, and you feel like you're a victim to the body that you're in. You're a victim to the past, that what's happened to your body. It becomes identifying, and you never really get that soul freedom that you were born with. So how do you get soul freedom? How do you get that soul purpose? Or how do you give yourself a soul identity that is not affiliated or associated with the body, other than it's providing you access to be here on this planet? It does everything for you. It beats your heart. It tells you you're tired. It tells you when to go pee, tells you when to go poop, tells you when to eat, tells you when to stop eating, it even tells you what to eat. I mean, you really have no work to do if you're not. This body requires very little.
Yeah.
Right? I don't do much. I listen to it. I am literally living in the state of a child with my soul all the time. All of this is play. This is dress up. Dress up. Right?
Yeah.
It's fun. This is fun. It's not who I am. It doesn't make me improved. It doesn't do anything other than give me something fun to do. It becomes something I love and enjoy. And I could do this with any body. I don't need this one. I could do it with any form of flesh.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you want to be the body, when you are the body, when you identify as your body, this is a struggle. It is. It's hard. It's hard to let go because you think that you're going to be permanently a piece of shit. Permanently, if you accept this. Because you're just as shitty as your body is. And everybody's going to think you're a pile of shit because all you have to give to humanity is your looks. Right?
Which really, my body's amazing.
Oh, I know. If you get into reality, it's like you have a perfectly good body. It's healthy. It's, it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's not failing at anything. It could handle anything you throw at it, really. Maybe except for suicide. But then again, if this body isn't good enough, what makes you think the next one's going to be good enough for you?
It wouldn't be.
No, because you still identify by what body you're given, right? You are not the body. You're not its athletic ability. You're not its fitness. You are not its health. Anybody who wants to think that they know what health is, what does that tell you? If they know what health is, I know what healthy is. And health makes me so happy, as if the body's health is responsible for happiness.
Yeah.
Bizarre. It's a bizarre form of identity, isn't it? I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
And it's rampant.
Oh, it is like, it is a social paradigm. And I truly believe each and every one of us at some point or another we're going to have to learn that you are not the body you're here in. You have a soul purpose, and the body you're in is just a conduit for that purpose. So if you have body fat, that's a body metabolism. That has nothing to do with your soul purpose. And ultimately, should that be your focus?
No. Extra fat cell?
Yeah.
No.
Your metabolism, is that your job? Were you put here on this earth to focus on your body's metabolism?
Absolutely not.
What a waste. What a freaking waste of a perfect life. A perfect body is now made to look and be like not good enough. You have a perfectly good body, and you're taught that it is not good, and you can't do anything until it is. So your sole purpose has been hijacked, and it's not going to come out until you detach from your body, because you realize, right, that there's never there is no such thing as a perfect body.
No, yeah.
There is a body, well, or all bodies are perfect if you're conscious and alive. There's a purpose. If you're here, you're conscious. There's something there is something here for you. And is it your body? Are you here to manage your body? Are you here to define your entire life by your friggin' thighs?
No.
What a distraction. Wool over your eyes, right?
Yeah.
So if you are not identified by the flesh of the body you're in, how do you identify yourself?
Just by your essence.
Yeah, your soul purpose. When I was here, I said, I'm just going to be this integrity that I know is good. There's something very, very good about this heart of mine, my heart. And I've never honored it before, and I will honor it from now on, because I do not want to be someone's nice body. I don't want to be someone's sexual object.
Yeah, that's really kind of gross.
Well, it's very misogynistic, right? That our role as a human being, is to please someone sexually. That our role, this is just one theory, right? That our role is to be visibly attractive. That's our worth, that's our purpose, and that's the one thing we need to focus on so that we can prove ourselves to survive, right? And if you're sexually attractive and someone's attractive to you, then you've made it, girlfriend, because that's your purpose, right? And in reality, it shouldn't be. You know, sexuality and having a relationship sexually is part of just a body. That's part of the sex organs of the body. It's part of pleasure with a body, right? But should it define you? Should it define you? How much sex you have, if you have sex, the morality behind sex, the purity of whatever sex is thought to be, right? And if you're attractive sexually to someone.
No, I don't know.
Or that you don't be sexually attractive, because it goes both ways. Is that what your purpose is?
No, absolutely not. I can see how if you inherit that belief, though, it does become like you go into fight or flight mode if you're not fulfilling that purpose.
Yeah, because you feel like you have nothing else to give. That is your purpose on this life, and that you have nothing else. But in reality, that's part of just being a human being. It shouldn't be a purpose. It should just be part of the experience here with a body. It shouldn't define your life.
Passion is uncontrollable anyway, you know?
Well, yeah, because we're human beings.
Yeah.
Part of having a body. We do have sex organs, and they do connect to the pleasure center of the brain. That was there intentionally. It's how the human species has survived for thousands and thousands of years. The body we have has it, right? So we could say many people are born with sexual identity, not only just gender identity, but the sexual identity. But that's only if, right, there's morality that is taught, better than, less than, right? So I had a sexual identity as being so pure, being so righteous, because I'm waiting till marriage, and that's what God wants me to do, right? And so I keep myself pure, I keep everything pure, and I end up having absolutely no discernment of reality. So what that makes me is a huge and easy target. Right? Because I have no idea. I just think there's no sex in the world. It's really kind of messed up. Because I shouldn't be looking at sex from a sinful, moral, dirty, bad. You know, that ultimately caused more damage to my soul than the actual rape. Feeling like I was a chewed piece of gum, ruined, dirty whore, caused more psychological trauma than the actual sex of the rape. Yeah. Right? And then believing that bullshit. I mean, but what else did I have? I mean, I was indoctrinated and brainwashed, and I believed it. My purity is my value, and I create an identity about that purity. So what happens when it's taken away, and it's confusing, and it's not like some guy waiting in a bush raping me, right? It's a confusing environment. That's how most rape occurs. It's not the same, right? You end up in any way, especially if you hold sexual purity as an identity. So does that make sense? So that's just as an example. The other thing is like, okay, let's just say sexually someone is gay. They're attracted to the same sex for whatever reason. That is a body issue. It is a body organ issue, correct? So why are we separating them as humans? They have sex organs that function, and there's a system in place with that. Why are they separated as a different type of human being when actually their sexuality is no different than heterosexual sexuality?
Yeah.
The reason why we create separation is called ego. People want to feel like they're better than. Purer. I'm purer than you. You're dirty. It's evil, right? Sexual identity. It gives no credibility to the soul at all. Like the soul has no bearing on how you are valued to humanity. It has everything to do with what you do with your sex organs. Right? Okay. So how about, athleticism? You're such an amazing athlete, right? Did I do that, or did the body come with that, right? And then my motivation to get positive, affirmations from it, positive reinforcement, made it even better. But is that my sole purpose, to be an athlete, to be physically gifted? Is that the purpose of this life?
No.
You hear that, right?
Yeah.
Is the purpose of my life to have a thin waist?
No.
Is the purpose of my life to have thighs that don't jiggle? Is the purpose of my life to have bigger eyelashes and beautiful face? And is it to be a visible object of desire? Should I be that idol? Should I be idolizing the body? Is that the purpose of life?
No.
I would agree. I believe every single one of us at some point is going to have the opportunity to separate from our bodies prior to death. And you just so happen to have that. It is like saying, I am not this body. This is what has to happen for death to occur. You detach from the flesh. You detach from the physical form. That detachment from the physical form awakens your awareness to this infinite, huge, unexplainable energy of the soul that is so beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like, I've got a ways to go, but I feel like I'm starting to maybe tap in or see what that looks like, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So you're going to, what you'll need to do for you to make that transition, those of you who have worked with me, who have struggled with this, will say that is so true with what I'm about to say. In order for you to make this paradigm shift, you are going to need to accept that you are not this body or the next one or the past ones or any body. You're not a body at all. You never will be the body. And you permanently make that separation. It has to be permanent. With that said, you are now permanently accepting whatever body your soul is attached to, no matter what. You could be born with disfigurement. You could get into an accident in this lifetime, and you will always, if your body you are in is alive, you still have a soul purpose here. You don't have to have the perfect body. You don't have to have a healthy body for that matter. You can have a sick body and have a soul purpose.
Yeah, because when you meet someone that's truly authentic and say like, oh, that's a beautiful person, it has nothing to do with physical.
No, and there's plenty of people who have the facade of the perfect body, the perfect marriage, the perfect house, and they are miserable and suffering and held hostage to having to maintain that false front.
The image,
yeah, the image, like that's who they are and that's their only purpose, and they're so afraid to let it go and just be real. You just need to come out of the closet. That's what I call coming out of the closet. No different than someone who has a sexual identity that people judge and make us. It's like saying, hey, look at me. I'm fat. The body I'm in has fat. And you can shame it and throw all the stones you want. But I have a soul and that's my purpose. So I'm not going to be distracted with all your bullshit. I'm not going to focus on this anymore. Sure, I have limitations, right? For those clients I work with who are 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 250, wherever it is, you accept that that limitation exists. It didn't exist to start. The limitations exist because of all of your dieting and the obsession and feeling these impulses for food. So it actually was caused by the body image identity. And then the shame involved with that body makes it even worse, because now you have to hide and you have no life and food can't be eaten. You have no pleasure and it just takes over. So at some point you're going to need to realize that if you cannot accept this body in any state and form, if the soul cannot reside in this body, there's a soul problem.
That again?
If the soul, because you're the one making this decision. You could sit here and say, well, no, I'm not. Culture believes this. That man told me that if I'm not beautiful, no one's going to love me. Well, at some point, you're the one that's holding yourself hostage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can just choose to be eliminated by assholes that quickly. It's that quick. If you just let it happen, assholes just go away. It's a natural way for you not to have to deal with douchebags.
Yeah, that's what I was excited about. So, like, in correlation to our first session and that date, like, in the past, I probably would have been more concerned with what he thought, you know?
Yeah, like he is, because he rules over you, right? Because his opinion determines whether you're a good person or not.
Yeah.
Well,
so really just like
yeah, if he's defining everybody by the body, he doesn't even know what his soul is. He's not awakened to that yet either. So how is he going to know you? He's only going to know what he likes about your body and what he approves of. Where's the substance, right? The substance comes when there is a very clear awareness that the body you are in does not define the content of your heart and soul. It does not. Your thighs are not going to take away from how amazing you are. Neither can if you lose your arms in some accident. That doesn't take away from you either. It just changes your physical options, right? Look at Dr. Stephen R. Hawking. He is the smartest man on the planet. He has absolutely no physical capability at all whatsoever. But yet he is making a huge impact on humanity. One of the most powerful people today has absolutely no ability at all physically. How does that happen?
Yeah, one way I had it explained to me once was like, you know, your body obviously isn't the same body as when you were born, and that it's constantly changing, so never the same. But the one thing that is constant is your essence, you know, your soul.
Yeah, but if you are defined by your body, it's almost like you're soulless. Because it has no power. Yeah. It has no voice. There's no voice to your soul because your body isn't good enough yet. So your whole entire life is put on hold. Your soul purpose can't happen yet. This is a lesson I think every single human is going to have to go through at some point or another. And it's presenting to you right now. Do you want to continue to be defined by whatever body you're in? Is there any body, if you are defined by it, is there any body that's going to be good enough for the soul?
No.
If you cannot accept the one that you have, let's just look at the one you have in the mirror. If you can't accept this, what is acceptable? No, really, I want you to think about that. Is your soul ever going to have freedom?
Not without acceptance, no.
It won't. No. And you're actually saying that the body you're in right now sucks. It's not good enough. This is so hard. I'm struggling to accept it. As if you like have leprosy and major disfigurement and constant pain and agony, and you are unconscious and you're psychologically stunted, or like what?
Yeah. It's like with the receiving a gift and it not being good enough, you know? Like, I didn't choose my body. It was given to me.
Well, of course. So why are you just using it as a tool of who you are? Like you picked it? Like you chose your skin color? Like you chose what's going on? Like you chose all this? Even if you had the perfect body, did you choose it?
No.
So why is it being used as a front? Well, because the soul doesn't have power. It's not given the power. Even if you had the perfect body and you have all of this power, why would you take it? Because that means you don't have a soul anymore. There's no soul purpose. It's like your purpose is to be pretty and beautiful. Is that your purpose? Even if you had the perfect body and could use it to your advantage, why would you do that?
Useless.
It is useless. It is like saying my soul purpose is dead. I'm not going to let it come out. I don't want it. I'd rather be thin and pretty. Right? Like it's very, on one level, it's very sad, but on the other level, it's very necessary, right? You have to suffer in a body image for you to be aware that there's an importance to being separate from the body, right? The suffering of body image is required to know the freedom of soul image. And then there's this amazing balance between the two. So now I'm in my body. It's not really mine. I'm in the earth's body. I'm in God's body. I'm in Allah's body. I'm in whatever body you want to define it by. And I can love it without condition and have fun and say, hey, whatever happens to this body, including death, it doesn't happen to my soul. My soul can live in this. It has its expression. My soul cannot be touched by a rapist or a murderer or someone who wants to torture me. They can't touch my soul. They can remove body parts. They can stab my eyes out, and I will still find joy of the soul. They cannot take that from me because that is the only thing that's real. Everything else is a figment. It's all an illusion. And with that said, if you stay this way or even gain some weight from here, okay, let's just get fatter, get worse, right? Does it matter if you are identified by, empowered by the soul? No. Because does gaining 20 pounds take you away from the beach?
No, it doesn't really change anything.
No. Does it take away your joy of hearing birds?
No.
Nope. Does it remove the sensation of the sun on your skin?
No. I think only if you're identifying by the body does it affect those things, but then you're not
alive. You're still dead. It's like you signed a contract that said, I'm going to live this life just as a body. I'm going to focus on my body. I'm going to fixate on it. It's going to be my purpose. And now you're suffering. You can surrender that contract at any time because it's your contract. You're the one with free will. You don't have to, you're not chained to that. Once you learn, right? Once you learn your lesson, you can surrender it at any time and reincarnate with the knowledge, I will never again be attached to a body. If you actually died today, some freak accident, and you are given this transitional space of reconciliation in some transition and death, and you were given the opportunity to reconcile that life and before you begin another one, what would you have learned in this lifetime up into this moment? What would you have learned about your body, your relationship with your body?
That it's really just a vessel for my soul.
Yeah, would you take the next one and make sure it's good enough first before you live again?
No.
Yeah, because you never really get to live.
Just be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, you would say, I'll accept it. What if it's a fatter body? Would you be pissed off?
No.
What if it's a different color? If you're in a black body, does that make you a black soul?
No.
No. It's an incredible
Yeah.
thing to be aware of.
Yeah, there's no measure for value.
No, nothing is, your content is the same. You have the same heart and soul, right? You have that same vibration of love. There's this incredible sense of love and exploration and fun, and I don't know, it's so much bigger than just the body, isn't it? The body is not your deal. It's not your business. It's already been done for you. It's been created for you. It's prepared for you. It's capable of everything for you. You don't need to worry about it or fixate on it. As long as it's good enough for you, as long as your soul can say, this is great. I'm here. I'm alive. Holy crap. Fingers, toes. Okay, I've got luxury. I've got the luxury body. Right?
Yeah.
Now what happens to your life?
You can just experience joy.
That's what that is. Notice how expansive that feels.
How what that feels?
Expansive.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
it's
tiny.
endless.
Yeah, it's infinity. You have your entire life with this body to explore, experiment, trial, error, give, take, move. You just have so much to experience. Why would you take an ounce of your life managing the body you're in? It's just a waste.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about on Monday, how you said your purpose is what you're doing in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like just focusing on what feels good in that moment. So, I mean, why would I spend half of my life focusing on what I don't like and making that my purpose when there's a world out there, you know, at our fingertips?
That is the truth, honey. That is, so when you make that decision, and it is a decision, it's like rewriting your contract. I want a new life. And this next life, I want to be my soul. I'm going to be the soul. I don't care what body I'm in. I don't care if this body ends up fat, skinny, old, whatever. If I can do it in this body, I can do it in my next one too. But if you can't do it with this one, what makes you think your next one's going to be any better?
It wouldn't.
No, you might get a worse one just as a lesson.
Yeah, seriously.
No, because you have a perfect body.
Yeah.
It's the luxury. You got the luxury version.
Yeah.
You're white in a racist country. Luxury. You don't have to deal with racism. Depending on where you live. Right?
No, I don't. Yeah.
I know. So if we could look at this from so many levels and just think, what the hell are we doing? What is humanity doing? Putting bodies in boxes based on their looks. Their looks.
Yeah. It's criminal.
Well, it's actually like, total distraction. Total distraction. Something else is going on here. We're not supposed to connect with the heart. Something's right. Why are we so lured away from the soul, which is where our free will exists? I think there's something very powerful that you gain, right? I know for myself, the moment I became a soul and I reincarnated, kept the same body, and became my soul, I can't even describe it, but I have the power of my life now. I have my free will. But up until that point, there was no free will. It was always religious will, body will, sexual will, athletic will, education. It was always so focused on proving myself outside of the soul. The soul was never given immediate. It was never given immediate worth, right? And that moment I decided I will never again be anything other than this soul, and I am okay if it's not good enough, because it is what it is, and it's okay. I'm not going to live outside of that. This is the truth of my alma, and I'm going to live within that truth. That moment severed a lot of suffering for me. I don't know. It was an incredibly powerful transformation. And I would never go back to everything before. organized, predetermined, decided for you. There's no freedom or free will in that.
Yeah.
So it feels like for me at this point, I've had 17 years of this and it is real. Like the wisdom I have learned by my own trial and error is mine. It's not some religions. It's not some cultures. It's actually a real true soul journey. And there's no way I could have achieved or experienced any of this if I was still trying to fixate on my body and its health and its athletic ability and your approval and your opinion. And it just wouldn't be possible, right?
There's no grace in that.
Oh, there's never grace in the others.
Yeah.
You have, even if you think you're Christian, you're not, because there's no grace in telling people they have to be a certain way, right? The truth in this is that I have grace inherently with my soul. But as soon as I become attached to the sacred idols of the world, my education, my health, my looks, my sexuality, my, church, my religion, you have no grace. You now have to follow rules. You have to hold on to something that's outside of your reality. All in fear of some illusion that has been feared into you, right?
Yeah. That's pretty amazing because I feel like once you detach from that, like those identifying traits, that has to dismantle shame, right?
Say that one more time. You're kind of breaking up.
When you detach from identifying yourself by those things, that has to dismantle shame.
Oh, of course, yeah, it dismantles shame because you are you're honoring something that's truthful, and it's like telling the truth. And no matter what judgments around it, it's to you. It's not. You don't need to justify or rationalize it. It's just the truth, right?
Yeah, there's the judgment.
Yeah, and you stop comparing yourself to what's idolized because it's not within the scope of reality within you, right? So why hold yourself to a standard that is outside of your scope of awareness and then feel like you suck because you're not there?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's like you should be ashamed because you're not there because that's the ideal and you're not there. Well, I'm not there. And I'm not going to pretend that I am or fake that I am or try to, what if that's not my life's purpose is to be that? What if my life's purpose is to do something different? If I stay within my heart and my, what is self-navigating, right? Self meaning not selfish, not self-centered, but just self-honored, right? The honor of what feels right to you. If you can't honor that yourself, then how can you honor that in anybody else? Right? So that's why I said with that guy you went on a date with, he clearly does not honor himself. Because if he did, he would be honoring the self of others. We should all be allowed to be ourselves, whatever that is. And I do not, and if you need to be a body, that is your lesson now, and we all have gone through it. I went through it. I was a body once. I'm not anymore. I don't know how these eyes work. I really don't. I have no control over what my eyes are doing right now. They're not my eyes. Thank God, right? I don't have to tell them how to work and how these cones and rods work. I don't have to deal with the light and the dark, and I don't have to manage this. I don't need to manage my metabolism. I don't need to manage my skin. I don't need to manage anything other than I stink. I might want to, take a shower, but I don't have to. Does it make sense? I have very little to do when it comes to my relationship with the body I'm in. It provides me an incredible platform of conversation, right? So this body, yes, the lips are moving. Yes, it is creating these vibrations and sound waves that your body's ears can hear. But what creates the content of this is the soul. It's not this. It's not my shoulders. It's not my arms. Those are not what make me worth this conversation. I am not limited by someone else's lack of awareness.
Yeah.
So they can be that way and I don't have to be offended. It's not my process. I went through that. Right?
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
With that said, what would it be like if you were just allowed to be your soul? End of story. You never had to fix this body ever again. Whatever it is in the state it is, it's perfect in this moment for your life.
Mm-hmm.
How would that feel?
I think it would be fun and free and exciting, you know?
No. How would it feel for you to need to be thin, try to lose weight, be thin, lose weight? How would that feel in comparison?
Torturous.
Well, do you say that because you're ignorant, or is that because you actually are an expert?
I'm an expert.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's not a lack of effort on your part, is it? It's not a lack of education. It's not a lack of desire. It's not a lack of wanting. It really isn't. You've done this for how many years now? 14, 15 years? Watched your mother do it since you were a young child. And when you learn this lesson and you bear the fruit of that wisdom, you can reconcile and move on and decide, okay, with this wisdom, my next life, I'm going to love the body I'm in without condition. Why doesn't this body in this life get the same treatment? What did this body do so wrong that it sucks? And the next one you'd love, though. You would be so much nicer to the next body. But this one, Why doesn't this body deserve the same grace to just be the body so that you can have your freedom?
Because I just never believed it or was aware of that, you know?
Yeah, well, it's your choice at this point because you're the one who's holding yourself to a different body than the one you have.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were reincarnated in this body right now in this state, is it? How would you feel about it with this new wisdom? Excited.
And grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me how that feels.
Kind of gives me goosebumps. Like it feels like a gift, really.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Would you by choice then go back into your little dungeon of body image?
No.
Why would you do that? Doesn't matter what body you're in. If once you decide it's good enough, you're free to be the soul now. You have a soul identity that has a soul purpose, and you now have your free will to live. It should almost feel like for the first time ever, you are now alive. Like the body you had just illuminated with a soul. Before it was soulless. Since you were a child, you were born with this beautiful connection. And it's like almost like it just came back. You should feel like you're a child again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally what I picture when we were having this conversation. Kids playing and there's no self-criticism.
They don't see skin color. They don't see gender, really. You just see different children and different souls, and you're connecting as spirits, right?
Yeah. Like the attraction between children who want to be friends has nothing to do with physicality, you know?
It doesn't. It has to do with them wanting to be creative and have a good time and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they love each other. They honor each other, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so it is a choice. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
It's really a matter of accepting this body permanently. There is a degree of permanence. You cannot even have the hope for a better body than this. If you have a hope or hold on to, I hope I don't gain weight, either way, are you going to get it?
No. No, because that will capture some of your focus and you'll be disconnected from the soul.
Anything you're doing to maintain your weight right now needs to stop.
Yeah.
Why would you even need to do that? If you get this new paradigm and you're going to cross over to a new level of awareness. What happens to all of those body image behaviors?
would just go away.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Yeah.
How does that feel to know that they don't have to be there anymore?
Freeing. It's like a weightless kind of feeling, you know?
Yeah, I do know, actually.
Yeah.
It's like your throat. Do you feel like something opening up right here in the neck? Your lungs might feel like they're fuller of your oxygen is probably, you're filling up with oxygen. You should feel it in your throat and maybe in the up here in the forehead a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a clarity almost.
Mm-hmm. Should feel expansive, endless, infinite. You should feel love. There should be this bright sense of love, and just, it's very difficult to describe, but it should feel very big, very expansive, very unlimited, very open. Right? That feeling, let's put it in another body. Does it feel different if you had a different body?
No.
No, the body has nothing to do with it, does it?
No.
It has to do with your conscious awareness.
Because that feeling is coming from inside the body, you know? It has nothing to do with the actual body.
It has nothing to do with it. No, it has to do with the alma, the soul is accessing this, not the body. How would this change your life?
I could actually have more of a purpose, or have a real worthwhile purpose.
And where does that purpose come from?
My soul.
Now, does it come from making more money, getting married, driving the right car, having the right kids, raising them in the right school, making sure their grades are good enough, having them prove themselves? Does it come from that?
No.
No, that's the system that we're going to assimilate to, but it doesn't come from any of that, does it?
No.
That's just a friggin' facade.
Yeah. Chasing the unattainable that just distracts you from good.
Yeah, it's like chasing something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Circles, right?
That doesn't exist.
Yeah. You should always just stay within yourself. Because that's ultimately the only thing you actually have in this lifetime that no one can touch, and only you know what that is, and only you can navigate it. No one else's opinion could be anywhere close to it, could it?
No.
And what makes you think that losing 10 more pounds is going to make you get it better?
It wouldn't.
I know. No, if you have to lose 10 more pounds, what happens to this awareness?
It gets locked back up and changed for then.
You don't get it. You can't have it.
Yeah.
Because you're just a body. Your purpose is making it different. It's like as soon as you permanently, I am talking 100%, you are making a new contract. I will love and accept every body I'm in. Doesn't matter what body I'm in. As long as I have consciousness, my soul can now have a purpose. It can do, it can be, it can create, it can have fun, right? And the body becomes just fun. It becomes a form of pleasure and excitement, and we can have children and have an earthly experience as a soul. If you're your body, you're in trouble, honey. You're never going to have a soul experience. If you're limited by jiggly thighs, you have a lot to learn yet. And that's okay. How do you feel now?
I feel excited and a little scared, but like I'm getting closer.
Yeah, what are you scared of?
I don't know. There's really nothing to be scared of.
I know.
I think just letting go of what I've always clung to, you know?
Letting go of misery. Yes.
Yeah,
Letting go of limitation.
Because misery is comfortable. It's been pacifying me. Even though it's been ruining my life, you know, or stealing my life experiences away.
Yeah, but maybe it's time to grow up. Maybe it's time to live your life now. Maybe it's time the soul has power.
Yeah.
And you've got to, you have to honor the soul. That could be your fear, is that you don't think your soul's good enough.
Yeah. I'll have to think on that.
Yes, you do. You do need to contemplate that.
Yeah.
Because if you really think that inherently your soul is a piece of shit, you should just keep on working on your body. You should be scared, for sure. Because the body can fake it, at least. At least that you think, right? You can fake like you have a purpose. Or you can just start life over and have a soul purpose.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for letting me share this. I'm going to turn the video off.
Yeah.